All right, Badou Jack versus Adonis Stevenson is going down on May 19th. So it's like what, just over halfway through next month in Toronto. I'm not sure if Adonis Stevenson has fought in Toronto before. He normally fights in Quebec rather than in the English-speaking part of Canada. But yeah, anyway, it's going to be in Toronto. Interesting fight. A fight I like. I saw the press conference. Adonis Stevenson turned up in a tuxedo, which looked like some wrapping paper or someone's wallpaper. You know, I've always found Adonis Stevenson to be a bizarre and entertaining character. He's a very effervescent guy. If you watch an Adonis Stevenson interview, the guy can't help smiling. He's just in a perpetual state of bliss. He's just constantly delighted all the time. And that's just what I find amusing. He's one of the happiest fighters I've ever seen, at least on the surface. He just seems happy, laughing all the time. It's just mad happy that someone gave him happy pills. But as I say, he's slightly unorthodox in his demeanor. And yeah, I just find it entertaining. And in the ring, obviously, I find him even more entertaining. I think he is one of the most precocious punchers in boxing, and he's got the best left hand in the game as far as I'm concerned. I've been very critical of Adonis Stevenson over the past couple of years because of the poor quality of opposition that he's faced and his seeming unwillingness to take on the best, you know, or at least take on people who are highly ranked contenders, like the guy who is his mandatory for so long, Alida Alvarez. You know, so I've been very critical of Stevenson. I've been calling him the irrelevant champion in the light heavyweight division and stuff like that. But that's because I'm being objective. In terms of entertainment, Adonis Stevenson entertains me. Yeah, whenever he fights, I always tune in to watch it because I want to see that big left hand land. And I want to see what happens. I've always liked big punches. I've always liked watching, you know, explosive guys. That's my thing. And Adonis Stevenson delivers that. Now, as far as this Badou Jack fight and the way I see it going, I'm tentatively going to pick Adonis Stevenson to win the fight. Now, if this fight was happening 5 years ago, you know, if this was a 35-year-old Adonis Stevenson, I'd be much more confident in picking him. But because of his age, because in my view he's showed clear signs of slowing down, he's become easier to hit, I think, over the past few years, and he's been fighting a fairly low level of opposition of late and hasn't been that active. All those things go against him, against Badou Jack, because Badou Jack has been fighting much better opponents than Stevenson's been fighting of late. He's been much more active, and he's an improving fighter, and he's much younger. So these are the things in Badou Jack's favor, and why I think it's now a much more competitive fight than it would have been if Stevenson was 35. But still, I'm marginally favoring Adonis Stevenson to win this fight. I think he could win it by knockout or points. But if Stevenson wins, if he's going to win, it is crucial that he hurts Badou Jack early in the fight. He has to hurt him. He doesn't necessarily have to drop him or knock him out, but he has to hit Badou Jack with something that makes Badou Jack hesitant, that prevents Badou Jack from just walking him down. If he hits him with something serious early and he keeps Badou Jack under manners, then Adonis Stevenson can win the fight. He can either take Badou Jack out at any point in the fight, but particularly in the first half, or because he has him under manners, because he has him intimidated by the power, he can coast his way to a points victory. But hurting Badou Jack early is absolutely crucial, I think, because Badou Jack has got a great work rate. He tucks up tight, he can fight on the inside, he applies pressure very well. Just ask James DeGale. So yeah, if Adonis Stevenson doesn't manage to make his power count early in the fight, then and intimidate Badou Jack and hurt him with his power, then Adonis Stevenson is in for a very, very long, tough night down the stretch, I think. Because Badou Jack, if he don't get hurt, he's going to walk Adonis Stevenson down. He's going to hit him to the body. He's going to force him into the trenches. And Badou Jack is a guy with a crab-like defense. It's very difficult to penetrate his defense. So Stevenson, even though Stevenson can fight on the inside, he's much more open defensively on the inside than Badou Jack is. He's not terrible defensively on the inside, but he's more open than Jack is. His guard is not as tight. He is more easy to hit. So he'd be under a lot of pressure. In fact, I could see it being similar to the Andre Fonfara fight in the late rounds if Stevenson doesn't get Jack under control early. And Badou Jack is a better fighter than Andre Fonfara. So I say similar, but I think Badou Jack will have more success than Fonfara did. But the pattern of the fight late on could look something similar to Stevenson-Fonfara 1. Not the rematch, obviously, but the first fight where Fonfara was walking Stevenson down, where he was dragging him into a fight on the inside and stuff like that. I could see something like that happening. And at 40 years old, I don't know whether Adonis Stevenson will be able to keep up with Badou Jack's pace in a scenario like that. Yeah, he has to keep the fight on the outside, and he has to hurt Badou Jack with the left hand. If he don't, he could be in trouble. Yeah, he really could be in trouble. There's a lot of ifs here, and that's why, for me, I'm only picking Stevenson marginally. I'm not massively confident in it. As I say, if it was a 35-year-old Stevenson, I'd be relatively confident, but at 40 years old, inactive, poor quality opposition, etc., I can't be so confident anymore. So whatever happens, I hope it's a good fight. May the best man win. And yeah, let's roll on May 19th. So let me know how you feel about this fight, people. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Adonis Stevenson versus Badou Jack. Who have you guys got winning? Obviously, at the head-to-head, people were talking about how much bigger Badou Jack looked than Adonis Stevenson. He is a big guy. But Stevenson's been used to fighting big guys. Tony Bellew was a big guy. Tavoris Cloud was a big guy. Maybe not in terms of height, but body mass. Tavoris Cloud was a big guy. And Fonfara was a big, Adonis Stevenson's fought big guys. Chad Dawson was a big guy. So Stevenson's used to fighting big guys at light heavyweight. I think Badou Jack is about 6'1". Stevenson's about 5'11", 5'10", 5'11". So Jack is obviously the taller man, but Stevenson has had longer at 175 pounds, to adjust to the punches of 175 pounders and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know how you feel about this fight, people. How do you think it's going to go? Who are you picking? How do you see the fight playing out? What are the keys to victory for both men? I think I pretty much laid out Adonis Stevenson's key to victory. He has to keep it long. Don't engage Jack on the inside. Jack has got a very tight defense. Only engage Jack on the inside if he absolutely has to. Try and avoid the inside. And Stevenson does that normally anyway, because he's got such ridiculously long arms. He normally dominates everybody on the outside, because very few people can compete with Stevenson's range. Even though he's a relatively short guy, he's got these crazy long arms, and he keeps everybody on the end of his arms. Like Tony Bellew's 6'3", and he couldn't outbox Adonis Stevenson on the outside, because Stevenson's arms are way longer than his. Even though Stevenson's way shorter than Bellew, his arms were so long, Bellew couldn't get close to him. He couldn't land his shots. It's crazy with Stevenson's mad reach. He uses it very effectively. It's one thing to have long arms, but it's another thing to be effective with those long arms. And Stevenson is very effective with that long ass reach he's got, and obviously that tremendous left hand. So yeah, he has to keep it on the outside. And make sure he lands something. Make sure he keeps Badou Jack under manners, and make sure he paces himself well. Yeah, he normally does anyway. He's been 12-round distance a few times, so pace himself well. Hit. In fact, has he been hit a few times? I know he's been hit one. He's been 12 rounds at least once, because he went 12 rounds against Saki Obika, and he also went 10 or 12 rounds another couple of times, I'm sure. But yeah, he has to pace himself. Oh, in the first Fonfara fight, that went 12 rounds too. So he has to pace himself. He's a 40-year-old man at the end of the day. And the most important thing about pacing himself is making sure that if it's a long fight, he retains his power late into the fight. Yeah? Because if, let's say he does hurt Badou Jack early, but then Jack feels Stevenson's power is declining and waning, then Jack might mount a late rally and, you know, put some hurting on Adonis Stevenson. So he has to save some of that power for late if need be. He has to be economical with his power, but make his punches count. You know, try and be as accurate as possible. Badou Jack, he has to just do what he normally does. Tuck up tight, try not to get hit with anything too clean. Work Adonis Stevenson's body. You know, when he gets on the inside, he has to invest to the body. Because the first thing you want to do with Stevenson is take away his legs. Yeah, if you can take away his legs, you can take away his ability to fight on the outside as effectively. Because then he's going to be stationary with those long arms, and it's easier to get to a stationary target than a guy who's moving side to side all the time, in and out, the way Stevenson normally does. So invest in the body. Be careful for the left hand, obviously, but invest in the body and just do what Badou Jack normally does. Fight his normal fight, the same way he fought against De Gale, the same way he fought against Lucien Bute, etc. Use the jab, use a strong jab coming in, and go to Stevenson's body, take them legs away, and just work him over. Slowly but surely, gradually work the guy over. That's what he needs to do. Make Stevenson get ragged. And Stevenson does get ragged. You know, he does get ragged, particularly late on in fights. His shape doesn't quite hold up anymore, and he gets ragged. So, yeah. Those are the keys to victory in brief. Let me know how you feel about this fight in the comment section, people. It's Hatman, I'm out.